Hey YouTube, wanted to do a quick video on the install of my Blackview DR750 front and rear driving camera and my Unidine Unidine R3 radar detector. Who knows? So I've already done the install. I didn't think about it until about halfway through about doing a video, so I caught a little bit of doing the wire routing to the rear, but what I'm going to do now is just a quick show of where I have my things placed and the wires that I tapped into. I could have soldered the wires. I could have done a better job of hiding the wires, but frankly I don't care because they're hidden. So what I'm going to do now, take a look at everything. Again, this is a 2013 Audi S8, but this should work for most of the D4 S8s. As far as wire color, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll get you there. So if you have any questions, be sure to comment below. And alright, switch the video over. Now here's the setup of the camera, just above the rearview mirror here, and then the Unidine R3. It only comes on when I power up the vehicle. I have the Blackview Power Magic Pro, so it has a parking mode that allows it to stay on like it is here. So first things first, I did all of my power connection up under this. So if you haven't taken one of these apart before, you just need a T30 torque, and let's see if we can get it right there. Take out that one bolt, so we'll do that rather quickly here. See if I can. My camera staff has been slacking, so just wanted me. But take this bolt out, and then basically the rest of this overhead console is just snapped in place. So I think the bolt's mainly backed out. Sorry for the fuck it, I might just fast forward this part. Alright, here we go, and it pops right down. You may have to pull on yours to get this console to pop down. Again, wire loom is a mess, but drop the mirror down here. This little plastic piece pops off pretty easily up front here. It's the one between this overhead console and there. So for me, let's see, I had a black, in this loom right here, I had a black wire, has like a little gray stripe or something on the side, really hard to see. It's like a 22 gauge wire. So this red wire here is for my radar detector. I just got I don't know, a pretty cheap hardwire kit from Amazon. You have your power, and then you have your ground. And so radar wire spliced into black with a like thin gray or thin brown stripe. It's hard to see in this dull light. That powers my radar detector. So when I turn the car on, key on, engine off, or power on all the way, I get a full radar detector. And power back off, it turns off. And then for, well, I had all my wires nicely tucked, but they kind of fell out. This is the Power Magic Pro for the Blackview 750. And if you're in the on position, then it does a parking mode where it'll stay on anytime it senses motion while you're parked. If you have it off, then basically same as the radar detector, it will power on with a key on, engine off. And I know this, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate in the comments, but we'll just ignore it. I spliced the accessory wire. There's 3 wires coming off the Power Magic Pro that you have to worry about. There's an accessory mode, there's a power mode, the red one here, and then there's a ground, and then the other red and black run to what initially feeds this. So for the accessory mode, I spliced into the same accessory wire, power wire I did for the radar. For the full power, I came up here, so you have back off so you have reference. This connection in here, if you take apart a little bit of the wire loom, there's a thick red wire right there, and that is constant power. So that's what you want to plug into here with your constant power. And then for grounds, again, center console, I grounded both the radar detector, let's see if I can get zoomed in there, both the radar detector and the camera into this ground. And then there's plenty of space over here to tuck up most of the wiring and that Magic Pro, whatever it's called, box. That'll tuck up there on the right side too. For the wires that are actually running to the camera here, I just ran up and over so it comes out the top of your headliner here. Same thing with the radar detector. You can see its wire back in there. It runs up under there and feeds into the center console. So I'm going to put this all back together, and then I'm going to show you the finished product because there's something a little tricky in the back that you need to take a look at in this car. So here's a bit of the in progress for running the wire loom from the Blackview DR750 mounted here. Run it to the rear camera currently. If you keep watching the rest of the video, you'll see the finished install product. But what we have right now is I am using this nifty panel tool to hide the wire in between the panels of my Alcantara roof, between the A-pillar all the way back. So in most cars, you have a break in the A-pillar here. It would allow you to run the wire here and along the outside of the headliner, but not so in the S8. I tried running it down the front here, in between the leather and the Alcantara. There just wasn't enough space. So what I did from the Blackview, came under the headliner here to this first seam, ran it underneath there, and then this is where I'm going to just give you a quick demo how to use the panel tool to separate this. And then if you follow along here, you can see the panel line goes all the way to the back, kind of hard to see here in the back. I'll drop the wire down here, run it across, and then I'll place my rear view camera here in the back. So I'm doing this holding the camera with one hand, but you should be able to get the idea. Basically, you pry the panel slightly in front, and then you can tuck the wire here, and if you need to, you can go back and push in on the wire with your panel tool to get it nice and hidden out of the way. If I had two hands, it'd be really good, but you should be able to get back to the stock size gap here without seeing any wire. You can tuck it back far enough. Just a slow process so you don't damage any of the Alcantara. But if you keep watching, I'll show you the finished install project. So everything is buttoned back up now with the overhead console. And you can see we have power to the front driving camera, power to the radar detector. What I wanted to show you with the back, it might be a little hard to see because of the contrast, but you have to have a little bit of a wired trail coming back from the back. In my previous cars, I mounted it, the rear camera as close to the headliners as I possibly could, so that there was very little wire exposed. But being that these are expensive cars, we have to work around some issues. So if you mount the camera any higher, then the rear shade will, as it comes up, will hit it. So you have to mount it a little bit low. If you count the lines on the back window, I mounted it between the third and fourth line to avoid hitting the shade. You might be able to go up another ½ inch or so, but realistically you're going to have a little bit of wire exposed, but it doesn't look terrible whenever you have the shade up. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the message below and we'll answer as quickly as you can. Thank you for watching.